So are you born with these traits? Who believes that some of these traits you're born to be, but if be born to be is something that you have to educate yourselves on. How do you walk in a room and command? How do you walk in a room and hold yourself accountable? How do you walk in a room and be honest with those that you lead? Three is how has a leader had the abilities to build trust. So we associate trust with respect. We employ trust through respect. If I respect you and you respect me, there's a level of trust that is employed where you are able to communicate effectively, hold me accountable just as I hold you accountable, hold me with respect and trust just as I hold you with respect and trust. And also, my team members added the fact that it's important to designate roles so that we build trust and hold each other accountable in our roles. If you're assigned to be a manager, do your managerial roles. Don't step over a general director and tell them what to do. It's important to respect somebody's roles in leadership. It's important to employ designation and delegation of tasks. Answer for question 4. What are the different leadership styles that were used? So we chose a protagonist because we believe that a leader is compassionate, a leader is able to build, a leader is able to congregate people. So for you to be a protagonist, you have to be a hero. You have to stand in the front of a room full of people and inspire and lead. So our answer was we feel more comfortable with a protagonist because a leader is meant to correct. A leader is meant to be compassionate. A leader is meant to build a community. So from question 5 until 6, my inspiration is Mr. Thabo Mbeki, former excellency, Mr. Thabo Mbeki. He created a space where women can lead in statehood where it wasn't granted. He said women should be anywhere they want besides the kitchen. He dismantled the importance of patriarchy while enabling women to exceed in feminism. It is important that although we shine and embrace our womanhood as women in statehood and leadership, our counterparts should be part of that progress. Our counterparts should be part of those conversations, like Mr. Halton. If we want to dismantle patriarchy, we should have conversations with those who enable that system, which is men. And Thabo Mbeki was one of those few men who started those conversations, who made a woman the first deputy president of South Africa, who made Phumzile Mncwangu the first black woman to be an ambassador in Canada, who allowed women to be leaders, who allowed women to step into spaces and lead without being disrespected by men. As much as he promotes African Renaissance, the importance of our cultures, indigenous knowledge systems, he understands the role patriarchy plays in our cultures to suppress women. So as a counterpart, he plays a role in enhancing women while protecting and preserving our cultures. That is my inspiration.
Thank you, Group C. Oh, wow, I can take quite a few from that. Call a representative from
Please. Everyone. So our icebreaker question, one of the question was about, was it a surprise when we're taking the test? Was it the personality traits that we received, were they a surprise? Majority of us felt like they actually were not. They actually cemented what we knew about ourselves and what we already thought about ourselves. But it was just a thing of, oh, actually it's that deep, right? So in essence, there was nothing new that we saw. But then some of us learned that there are people pleasers in essence, not like people pleasers in a sense that like you do everyone. But then in a matter of if someone needs something, I'd rather take a step back and them than do something for myself. Some of us learned that we are perfectionists, and then that hinders us from trying something new because then we are scared of what happens if we fail because we want everything to be so perfect, right? And then moving on to personality traits, we ask the questions of what do we believe leaders should have as personality traits, right? We spoke about sensitivity. We spoke about a leader should be empathetic. We spoke about a leader should be understanding. Leader should definitely be able to control their emotions because then different situations require different responses, right? A leader should definitely be a confident person, and you absolutely have to be a visionary as a leader. There's no in between. You have to see something that the people that are under your command don't see, right? In politics, we say you have to have a double giraffe view. We say leader has to be a student. You constantly have to keep learning. You constantly have to have a teachable spirit. You can't say, I know everything. As a leader, you are a liar. Yourself, you are not clear. A leader must always be a student. We spoke about, oh yes, this was a situation of, does one personality type fix every situation? So as a leader, are you able to say, because I am a commander, the personality trait said I am a commander. In every kind of situation, you must command. What we spoke about as a group was that, and I made a personal example of myself, right? To say, when you're a leader, you have to be adaptable to the situation that you find yourself in. When you are in student leadership or student governance, when you are interacting with students, you come down from being a commander and the most assertive person in the room or all of that. No, you are then a relatable person. You are now a student with other students so that they are able to tell you their problems, so that they are able to relate with you and are able to talk to you freely, right? But when you go and speak to management or you go and communicate student issues, you are now an advocate. You are no longer that relatable person that's easy to talk to. You are there and you are now firm and you advocate the issues of students without fear or favor, right? And then, the last was inspiring. Which leaders inspire us and why? We had Maya Angelou because of how unapologetic she is and how truthful she was to who she is and her truth, right? Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is a symbol of saying you can be a badass, like a powerhouse, but you can also be a family woman. You can have both, right? So she symbolizes that for some of us. And then her mother, right? Because then her mother was able to play the dual role of being a mother and a father, which is something that a lot of women find themselves in that position. And that on its own encourages one of us and encourages all of us, in essence, to say, you don't have to limit yourself to just one role as a person. You can be every single thing that you want to be. Hence, we say every single one of your dreams are valid, Black child.
Group B for insightful discussion of yours. Lastly, I'm now calling a representative from Group A.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Marcelina Zam. We did not write the questions, so I am going to speak a summary of what I can remember. Okay, we spoke about different leaderships, about a national leader, different kind of leaderships, and what makes a good leader. In summary, we had integrity, we had discipline, we had empathy, we had accountability and transparency. And then we got to discuss that all of these aspects, they actually make a good leader. And then we went as further as talking about personality and leadership. That does your personality leader that you become? How does your personality play a role in the kind of leader that you become? So there was a question that was thrown that do you believe that leaders who show their vulnerability it makes them a weak leader? And there were different aspects from the group where one also said they feel that a leader that shows their vulnerability gives them that ike that what if they are not good enough because I look up to this person, but you understand. And it also got to the floor that no, not really that a leader that shows vulnerability shows that they are not a good leader, but it shows that they trust the people that they lead enough to show them how vulnerable they can be at times. So that doesn't make them a bad leader, but it actually makes them a leader that works with their people, because at the time when I'm vulnerable, I trust you guys enough to show you that I am vulnerable at this state. What roles do the people you surround yourself have on your leadership skills or on how you become a leader? Like we spoke about how society plays a role in you becoming a good leader, how your enemies, like what role do they play when you become a leader? Your friends and the environment that you live in, the role that it plays in determining the kind of leader that you become. And then we also with the aspect that are you born with, or is leadership the something that you learn? And I think the other group had already this is an aspect, it's a bit of both, but you cannot be born with everything. The other aspects you get to learn along the way. And then it was said the difference between a good leader and a great leader. A great leader leads within its people, and a good leader leads its people. And is no one who does. Oh, is one who does a great follower. What am I? Yeah, I think most of the things were covered, but in aspect, I would like to say that we all share the sentiments the same sentiments when it comes to leadership and the different leader roles that exist. Thank you.
Ladies, let's give ourselves a round of applause for such an informative discussion. We are now moving on to our feedback session for a video theme, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. This video will be hosted by our facilitator, Sibahle. Sibahle Zwani is a 15-year-old rising young leader and diligent learner at Prudence Secondary School. Hailing from the historic streets of Soweto, where she was born and raised, she is committed to uplifting and empowering the women and girls in her community. With a strong voice and a fierce determination, Sibahle aims to challenge societal norms and to create opportunities for growth, equality, and societal change. Ladies, let us give a round of applause for Sibahle. We can still clap for her as she comes.
Danger, yeah. Ladies, sometimes a single video can change our outlook. For me, that is Simon Sinek's inspiring talk video, received just a week ago. Its impact has been profound. Now, today I invite you to join me on this journey of discovery as we unpack Sinek's wisdom and apply it to our own paths. My name is Sibahle Zwani, and I'm honored to be speaking with you about a topic that I'm passionate about: how great leaders inspire action. Now, great leaders inspire action by starting with a clear purpose, often referred to as their why. This purpose-driven approach, popularized by Simon's Golden Cycle, enables leaders to connect with others on an emotional level. By showing their why, leaders create a sense of meaning and belonging, inspiring others to join them in a pursuit of a common goal. Effective communication, empathy, and authenticity are essential in conveying this purpose. To inspire action, great leaders also empower others, providing autonomy and resources to drive change. They lead by example, demonstrating integrity, courage, and resilience. Recognition, mentorship, and open communication further foster a culture of trust and collaboration. By doing so, leaders unlock the potential of their teams, encouraging innovation, creativity, and collective action. South African women leaders such as Buseleto Makane, our community and engagement as our community and engagement associate, as well as Buntle the president. Driving a the show empowering others, giving out resources enables them to grow. Recognize mental sure. Now, as we reflect on the remarkable leaders, we reminded that position. Their stories ignite its spark within.
Thank you, Sibahle. Truly, like we are all leaders at the end of the day. Ladies, unfortunately, good things do come to an end. Like, I just don't want this day to end, but we do have one more treat left in store for you. We have our last and final session, which the civil leader saying our host for this session, Petey, 3-year-old young female leader and motivational speaker from Pretoria, South Africa. Despite being born into a family, she believes that every Black child can achieve greatness. Lerato dedicates her time to children with their schoolwork, tutoring, and girls and community events. She also with a focus on providing that they have to succeed. Just education has made a powerful community. Let's come host our final session.
Oh my God, at least I'm not that short. Um, Thank you very much, my dear sister Anastasia. Greetings, everyone. Let me take it back to South Africa. Dumelan. Dumelan. Oh, this is actually our last session. I'm actually so worried now. I'm so stressed out. I'm so sad. How are you guys feeling now? Oh my God. I like the idea that you guys have been so vibrant today. But now, ever since it is actually our last session, you guys, your energy has dropped. Guys, can I please do it again? Oh, now I got it. I got the energy. So, as we all know, I see some of you all are like, what is she saying now? Okay, guys, as we all know that in South Africa we have 12 official languages. So, I'd like to teach you how to greet in one of the official languages, which is Setswana. That means Dumelang. Dumelang means greetings to you all. Dumelang. Can you all repeat after me? I can feel your energy. Dumelang. Thank you very much. In our last session, we'll be having public leadership and management. As we all know that in today's rapidly changing environment, effective leadership and management in the public sector is more crucial than ever. As we have seen that so many women, so many young ladies are actually invading in spaces because we are a generation that believes in equality and 50-50 thing. So for now, guiding us through our public leadership and management session, we'll have our beautiful guest, Miss Kalamila. So Miss Kalamila will actually be joining us online. So as you all, I can see that you're all about to ask me, who's Miss Kalamila? I'm actually going to read the bio. Miss Kalamila is a global government ethics advisor, former U.S. federal prosecutor and founder of City Ethics, a non-governmental organization that provides ethics advisory services to local governments. She has extensive national and international experience in creating anti-corruption and ethics programs for governments and civil society. As a former fellow of Harvard University, Safra Center for Ethics, she uses the latest research-based techniques to inspire, motivate, and empower people to be ethics and transparency champions while pushing through resistance to their efforts. Ms. Kala is skilled at curating and simplifying essential international standards and making it fun to learn critical skills and information. Her passion is to help people to focus on their purpose and increase their skills so that they can be successful in creating positive change in their communities. Now, let us please join me in welcoming Ms. Kalamila with a warm round of applause.
Hi, everybody. I can't hear you, but I assume that you're applauding wildly and that you have a lot of energy. It looks like I froze. I don't really look like that all the time. I just froze on the camera. If you can loosen me up, and I'll try my video again.
Are you gonna share?
Yeah, I will in a sec. Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm really happy to be here with you from Florida. We just had a hurricane and millions of people are out of power. Just a little bit from my home, people are out of power and flooded. So I was so excited that my power came up and that I could be here today with you. Now I know that this is a little formal. I'm speaking and we have like audio problems sometimes. And, I just I really wish I could be right there in that room with you and talking with you directly. And that would be so exciting, but we're doing it this way now. So I want you to feel like you can put a comment in the chat, and I have someone monitoring. Actually, my husband is monitoring the chat for me. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. At the end, I have my email address. And if you want to email me, some people don't like to ask questions in a formal setting like this. I will give you my email address, please. If you want to email me and follow up on any questions, I'm happy to hear from you. And again, thank you very much, Mary, for inviting me here. I'm excited to be with your group. You're doing an excellent job. I really enjoyed the feedback that I just heard from the personality testing. So what we're going to do is I have a PowerPoint for you. And I'm going to turn off my video because it takes bandwidth that some people that are on their phones may not be able to see the PowerPoint if I also have to have my face in there. So I'm going to switch to the PowerPoint. And again, please feel free to put comments in the chat. I'm happy to hear from you. And afterwards, I'm happy to follow up with every one of you that sends me an email. I'm happy to, elaborate on some of these concepts. So we're going to go to the PowerPoint now. Just hold on for a second while we get the logistics here. All right, so you should have my screen up, and we shall start on empowering dreams, which is something that I think is so valuable to do. And my goal today is to give you some tools that can help you achieve your dreams. I mean, we all know we want to achieve our dreams. How do you do it? How do you do it? What are some tips? So why am I here today talking to you? You've seen my resume. Each step was a struggle, I can tell you. Federal prosecutor, I was in white collar crime prosecuting elected officials. I built my own law firm. I chaired my city's ethics commission and built an ethics program. I have my NGO, City Ethics. You can go to that site, cityethics.org, see what I've been up to. And now I'm a special advisor to my city's mayor. So I have a good resume, but why? Why would I do all of that? Now, I'm now going to be 74 years old, and most people my age, are sitting at home, they're relaxing, they're, playing with their grandchildren, and they say, why are you still doing things like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to speak with people in Africa? What is wrong with you? Why don't you just relax? Isn't it your time now to relax? Well, let me take you back to why I'm not relaxing. Here I am in 1970, and this is before I went to a dance, right before college. And at that time, I was I was like 16, 17. I was very naive, and my parents had goals for me. They wanted me to get married, get a house, make money, have babies. And that was all that they saw for me on my goals. And that's all they ever talked to me about. Others will have dreams for you. All the people around you are going to have dreams for you. But what's important are your dreams. So my dreams were I wanted to go to law school. There weren't too many women going to law school at the time. I wanted to change the world. I got involved in all kinds of causes to help. Stop the war in Vietnam, for women's rights when women's rights first started emerging in the United States. And I especially liked the area of anti-corruption. So I wanted to go to law school, and that was my dream. But it was so remote. Like, how am I going to do that? I didn't have a mentor. I didn't even know any women lawyers. I just had this dream in my heart that I was going to be able to do that. So the thing is, you just have to take the next little small step. Law school was the first step. But that's like many small steps, like getting an application, taking the LSAT, get letters, financing. And I was 4 months into law school, and my dad died of a heart attack at 50. And he was helping me finance going to law school. And my mother had enough problems. They were not going to be able to help me, and I was going to drop out. And it was about 2 weeks into the semester, and all of the other law students got together and got all of my notes for me for the first 2 weeks. And they said, you got to come back, but I almost dropped out, but I pushed through, and I finally received my law degree, and then became a federal prosecutor working with the FBI on political corruption cases. This is the president of the Florida Senate that I convicted and sent to prison for 5 years. And he called me from prison crying. And I thought, gosh, what takes a person like that, who was a football star and a star in the Senate, what takes them and makes them corrupt? And I started thinking about, how can I prevent and fight corruption? And that was my why. You know, you don't really label it the why at the time, but it's something you're interested in, something that, you know, really captures your imagination. So 10 years went by though. Why? I wasn't doing anything, fighting corruption or my why, my cause. Well, again, others will have dreams for you. Others will have dreams. And I would say that this had to do with my first husband. And I started living his dreams. And that's like a whole story. We'd have a good time talking about that. But what I want to communicate to you is choosing a partner is really important. And I think there's 3 types. Number 1, they oppose your dream and they pull you into theirs, which is what happened to me. 2, they're neutral. They don't care one way or the other. And 3, they're excited about your dream and they help you. And I remarried and I've got number 3. They're excited about your dream and they help you. My husband now is monitoring the chat room. He helped me with my PowerPoint. He's an IT person. He started about 25 years ago. He put up my first website, City Ethics, because, you know, he knew how to construct websites. And so he's my partner. And when I travel around the world working on anti-corruption, he's right there with me if something bad happens, you know, with the computer or the sound system or anything like that. He's there to help me. And here's a picture like right there, you see him behind, I'm in the wedding dress. And then you see his mother in the red dress and he's behind. And he's from Australia. So we had our wedding at the Sydney Opera House. And for the last 25 years, Don has helped me put everything together. So I would say that who you choose as a partner is so important because they can completely derail and stop your dreams. As far now, they can help you with some of your dreams, like maybe having a family and a home, but they can also, as far as saving the world, you know, you need to find a partner who's willing to help you with that. So in 2000, I picked up with chairing my ethics commission in the city. And I mention that because I volunteered. I volunteered in the ethics project for my city for 7 years. I'd practice law during the day, and at night I'd write all the training manuals, and I build it basically volunteering. And I would suggest that if there's a big area that you want to get into, that you knock on someone's door and say, hi, I would like to work for free, even if it's 5 hours a week. And you get your foot in the door, you volunteer, and you learn that way. Some of the things I did, I would have never been hired. You know, I would have just waited forever. Volunteering is a way to get your foot in the door. So I started taking hotline calls on corruption. And I started following up on all of them. I thought they hired me to do that. Unfortunately, they fought me when I would bring up things that were, I believe, to be corrupt, like a $750 million garbage contract, no bid. They were just giving it to a friend. And so I protested that. And I said, you can't do that. And we had an open public meeting about it. The press was there, made front page headlines, and they had to stop that contract for $750 million. They weren't happy. Started a fight with, I would tell them things that were corrupt in the city as ethics director, and they would tell me why I was wrong. And it was very tense. Every day I would be fighting for what seemed pretty logical to me as a former prosecutor. And I was being told that they didn't want me there, that they were sorry they hired me. And I thought, I am just trying to do my job here. What is wrong? And they completely blocked me out of things. I was like pushed off to the side, and any way that they could try to sabotage my efforts, they would do that. Came to my budget, they cut my budget to zero. And I said, that's fine. I worked for free for 7 years. I'll keep working. And the thing is, I wanted to quit because it was so hard. I mean, I would come home at night, walk in the front door, and I'd burst into tears. You know, it was I haven't had a situation where people were so mean to me when I was just trying to do the right thing. So this is like the time when you need support from your partner and your friends. And what you really need to know is your why. And I believe Jessica, your earlier speaker, talked about that. Like, like that's what gets you through the difficult times. If you don't really know, if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, when people are mean to you and they're like resisting, you just quit, because you don't have that passion. So what I did was I got all of the people in the community together, every community group, every friend that I had, any group, I got them all together, including the press, and we fought for an independent ethics commission. And we were told that there was no chance that this would happen. But after 2 years of work, we got an independent office of ethics in the city. And then when I called people, instead of like giving me problems, it was, yes, ma'am, what can we do to help you? And I thought, good, we've had a little power shift here. But that took a very long period of time and many, many setbacks where I didn't know how I was going to get through. And it was my why and my purpose that got me through. So did the office work? Our biggest challenge was in 2019. This was the major fraud in the United States, a corrupt sale of our energy company. $10 billion sale stopped. And was this easy? I'll tell you, I worked on it for about 6 months. And you talk about resistance when you stop a deal that people were counting the money and it's $10 billion. The stakes are extremely high. And if there is anything they can do to remove the opposition, we had people being followed. We had people being set up. It was fairly intense. And I would just go to work and come home, lock the door, and just try to stay safe. One night, I was in negotiations all day that they were having on this sale, and I knew it was breaking the law. And at the end of the meeting, I got information to the prosecution in our town about what was going on. And I walked back to my hotel. This was out of town. And I sat on my bed in the hotel and I just cried. And I thought, you know what? I don't have to be doing this. I'm like 73 years old. I don't need to be doing this. I'm quitting. I'm not putting up with this nonsense anymore. And then I got this really strong feeling. And the feeling was, this is your purpose. This is your why, fighting corruption. You spent your whole life getting up to this point. Now's no time to be a chicken. So I got up and I took a shower and I ate some chocolate and I thought, I'm going back in tomorrow. And I went back in and started getting in touch with the FBI and pushing. And I thought, I'm just going to push through it. And just this year, we had criminal convictions. That is Aaron Zahn, the head of the Electric Power Authority, and he was convicted. He's awaiting sentencing for up to 10 years. So the FBI came in and the prosecutions were successful. Here's the team behind that. You see the two women up at the top, my buddies, Brenda and Randy. They were city council people, elected officials. The two people below, my dear friends who are NGOs that came out and spoke against the corruption. Over to the left, right with the blue jacket on is Mary Kelly, and she was the editor of our newspaper, and every day the newspaper was backing us up. And then with the yellow seal, that's Valerie, and Valerie was head of the unions. We all worked together. Notice the similarity here. It was women that cracked this corruption. It was women. There were a few men involved, but they were like following our orders. And we basically got together and we were a really tight team. And we were able to bring down a $11 billion fraud on our city. So I would say when you get into some really big projects, you can't do it alone. You have to talk and work with other women in your community and build teams that are going to be there thick and thin. And you help each other achieve your dreams. I don't know anybody that's been able to really do this to a large extent on their own. So lessons learned. This is 50 years of my work, and I wanted to pull together the best ideas for you. And these are 6 leadership ideas. Now I want to tell you, I'm just going to tell you the idea. I'm going to give you a summary. I have done workshops on each one of these for a whole day. And you saw from your workshops on leadership and starting to talk about that, how you can really spend a lot of time on these things and really pull things out from people. So this is just to give you a little taste. And I've given you some references that you can follow up and get more data on this. And of course, you can always email me. Leadership idea number 1, I think the most significant one I've come across in all of my years of working is the TED Talk of Simon Sinek on how great leaders inspire action. I know a lot of you have already watched this. If you haven't, watch it, please. If you have watch it once a year and keep reminding yourself. Simon Sinek online has whole courses that you can take. A lot of resource materials on his website that really help you figure out. There's a whole course on how do you find your why. And it's a whole day workshop that I've done in the past. And it's really exciting to see, focusing in on that. He talks about the golden circle, how we usually talk about, what are you doing? What are you doing? And how are you doing it? And, we really get caught in that. But we don't really talk to people much about, why are you doing this? You could do 50 things. Why this? Why from your heart are you doing this particular job? And when you focus on the why, people will follow you. And then the how and the what, yeah, you got to do that. But if you don't have them on the why, they're not going to follow you on the how and the what. So it's not just what you're doing, but who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Sinek says, by why, I mean, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why do you get out of bed in the morning, and why should anyone care? So please take advantage of the free things that are online. There's a lot of stuff on this that you can really get into it, and not just for yourself, but for your team members, the women that you work with, the people that you care about. So you're all on the same page with your why. So this basically is latest research on parts of the brain, the thinking part and the emotions. The why on why you do something hits the emotions. You have to hit that first before anyone can start thinking. The research, brain research on this, fascinating. So first heart, then mind. People don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. And that's the key to leadership, which is why I talked to you about my background when I was younger and how I really wanted to crack some of those corruption issues and how I started developing my why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So what is your why? That is like the most important thing. I could just end right here, and that is like the biggest thing that you can focus on. Leadership idea number 2, this is simplicity. If you can't explain what you're doing to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Albert Einstein. So we create so much information now. Do you ever get like stuff at work and it's like 100 pages of this, 100 pages of that? And we create as much information now in 2 days as we did from the dawn of man. We just create so much paperwork. So the key is to curate. And there's a lot of books on curation, how leaders curate. You don't have like a bunch, see, like if you were in a museum where the word came from, you have like a whole bunch of paintings that the museum owns, but you pick very carefully, you curate for a display to get an essence of something. As a leader, you have to curate because there's too much information now and people just get overwhelmed. You have to pick the very, very best things and communicate that way. So don't pass out 500 pages of information. Be transparent and clear in your communication. One-page summaries. If you can't get it on one page, then you're making it too complicated. But am I smart enough is always a question, like, yeah, those other people did a lot, but they're smarter than I am. Well, I'll give you one key to learning. Look up every word you do not fully understand. And what you'll find out is that people that have high reading comprehension are considered to have high IQ understand the individual words. So if you get a document, you know how you're told just to kind of read it over, glance over it, and get the gist of it? No, don't do that. Read every sentence, and if there's a term of art or a specific word in there, look it up. You know, go on your phone and define that word and make sure you're fully understanding the words, because if you do that, there isn't any document or there isn't anything that you can't understand. I could send you a legal document right now. It might take you 2 days to look up all the words, but by the time you looked up the words, you would know as well as a lawyer what that document said. So don't skim things and don't like think you know by piecing things together. Look up every word. Define your words, key. Leadership idea number 3. I love this. It says, don't quit. And then they cross out some and it makes do it instead, which is basically when you get into these things, projects, and you're trying to achieve your dreams, you think, why can't this be easier? You know, I keep failing. I keep people are opposing me. People are blocking me. People are insulting me. People are telling me I can't do it. Why do some people keep trying? And this is a current form of research on what is it with people that keep trying. Failure isn't a permanent condition. Some people just keep going. Why? Now, this is a book I recommend that you all read, and there's a TED Talk from her. Short, 7 minutes, brilliant, brilliant. Some corporations in the United States hand this book out to thousands and thousands of their employees. They think it's so important. It's The Power of Passion and Perseverance. The book is Grit by Angela Duckworth. And this really breaks down why some people go forward, some people stop, and actually it teaches you how to have more grit. So short of having an all-day seminar on grit, I tell you, get this book. It'll really be important. Thomas Edison had 1,000 attempts to make a light bulb, and he was told by his teachers he was too stupid to learn anything. He's now known as one of the most successful inventors who ever lived. It's not your IQ that determines your success, it's grit. Knowing your why and your passion. And it's stamina. You get up over and over again. Someone kicks you down, you get up again, and it's hard work. And it's not your IQ. They take people with lower IQs and they do better than high IQ people that don't have any grit. So there's no failure except in no longer trying. So remember that, because I can tell you at least 1,000 times that I have failed, just like Thomas Edison. And for some reason, I just get up. And I want you to do the same thing. Leadership idea number 4 is, what are your strengths? And this is why I sent the test that I did for you to do. What are your strengths that you can offer to your country? What will get you through the hard times? So we had the 16 personality test that you're familiar with, that you were given. It's free. Take it again. Take it if you haven't taken it. Give it to your friends and the people that you work with. This is based on the Myers-Briggs testing. It is scientifically valid. It gives you clues as to where your strengths are. It's not like 100% like it tells you who you are, but it gives you clues of what you can use in the future. The VIA test is your top 24 character strengths. This takes a look at it from a little bit different angle, and I highly recommend that one too. They also have tons of materials online that you can follow up with courses that you'd find really useful. One of the best tests around, you don't have this one yet, is the Gallup Strength Test. There's a book on that too, Don Clifton, Strength Finder. This is brilliant. I mean, like 20 million people have taken this test. and it nails you pretty much on what your strengths are as a leader. And a lot of materials based on that. And I can give you all of these links later on in an email if you'd like. Now, keep trying to understand your personality and strengths. There's lots of other tests like this. Be introspective and figure out like what you're good at, what you're not good at. Leadership idea number 5. This is just so important. Like I said, these are all summaries of really important ideas. It just, I hope that you follow up on 1 or 2 of these with courses and some additional work. This one is ethics leading with integrity. So let's say you're smart and you look up your words and you understand things and you have grit and determination. You're going good. You know your why, your strengths, but you have an ethics or corruption problem, and that will sink you right away, and it'll sink you for life. That's the killer. Doesn't matter what you've done. I mean, I've had like people in their 40s and 50s, a great career, and then they do one corrupt thing, and it doesn't matter if they did 50 good things. What they'll be remembered for is that they did one corrupt thing. I mean, clearly, that is a key problem. And I would say one of the websites you might want to go to, again, has a lot of free resources on it, is charactercounts.org. There's a difference between ethics and corruption. I mean, clearly, you don't want to be taking a bribe or money, for swinging certain things in your agencies, the criminal corruption. I mean, that's just a killer. But also, as a leader, you have to have high standards of ethics. And some of that isn't, it's not like you're going to be put in prison if you violate this. It's just that you'll be a lousy leader because you don't have a good sense of ethics. And that's like some of the things like trustworthiness. Do you tell the truth? Are you honest? Can people trust your word? Because once you lie or you like shade things or you omit information, you start losing credibility as a leader. Do you respect everyone in your organization? Are you fair and caring? Each of these things are like in the ethics arena, not necessarily corruption. Corruption, you can go to transparency.org, and there's brilliant materials on transparency.org on stemming corruption in your different countries. There's a corruption index too, where all the countries are rated on their level of corruption, which is always really interesting to see where your country, US keeps dropping in ranking, but see where your country is, and that's transparency.org. There's also free courses you can take online. Like here's one on ethical leadership from Coursera.org. And, you can really explore like going into an organization and shaping it up from an ethics standpoint. Very key, very key. Leadership idea number 6, and my favorite one, although no, I think really number 1 with Simon Sinek is my favorite. This kind of ties with it. Leadership idea number 6, hope. Why should we have hope? The world seems to be having a lot of problems right now. I don't need to list them all. Not to mention the hurricane that just wiped out like a big part of the state of Florida. So you lose hope. Is it a lost cause? Is it hopeless? What can I do? What can I do? I'm just one person, So I would say don't get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed with how much is going on. I like this circle of influence. What can you do? See the little dot there? Yeah. Circle of concern or worry is real big. Like I worry about, the Middle East and the war there. I worry about our presidential election. I worry about like all these things. I can't control any of that. What can I control? The circle of influence up at the top. Like if what you can control is organizing your street to get together this week to cook dinner for someone that just got out of the hospital and make sure they have meals. If that is what you can do this week, then you do that. And then you build up to something bigger and then bigger. But what we tend to do is worry so much about everything that it immobilizes us and we can't even do the little things. So pick one little thing and build on it. And I would say my strategy has always been pick battles that are big enough to matter and small enough to win. We just pick these big things that might take like 10 years to do, you know, and then we get overwhelmed. So pick battles that do matter, but you can actually win them in like a period of time that's reasonable. Hope, computer power doubles every 18 months. Artificial intelligence is coming in. We're going to see like a huge change in your lifetime on how computers can aid us and maybe not aid us, but we have to like think that it's going to assist mankind, and people will be working on that. Research into the mind is developing, and we're coming out with a lot of good tools where we can anticipate how people are going to behave and how leaders can be better leaders. I would say that I'm optimistic 80% of the time, and about 20% I feel hopeless. If it was the other way around, that would be really bad. So I would say, yeah, there's going to be days where you wake up and you feel crummy and you wish you weren't doing what you're doing and you don't think it's worth anything. Okay, get up and push on, talk to some people and get to the optimistic part of yourself. Because to be a leader, you have to have, it can't be 50-50. I think it at least needs to be 60-40, you know, where you're optimistic. There's lots of research on how to increase hope. One of the main things is setting goals, and that's your why. And you break it down and you set goals. You get paths and plans to get there, and you have friends and groups, especially your women groups, are going to be most valuable to you. And that is how you increase your hope. So to finish, this is an American comment on dreams, but really I think it's universal for everyone in the world. Martin Luther King talked about what transforms the buoyancy of hope into the fatigue of despair. And I love that wording. I mean, haven't you ever been all like happy and buoyant and you're hopeful and you're going to change something, and then you get blocked and you go into the fatigue of despair? I mean, it just happens to people that get out there and want to change the world. They just go from buoyancy to despair. And what Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Yeah, you're going to have the short-term disappointments, but don't lose your infinite hope. He believed that hope is a force that can sustain life, motivate people, and encourage action. Accept disappointment while embracing infinite hope. You know, and so that's what my hope is, that each one of you knows your why and your purpose, that you work hard and you don't give up, and that you have hope that you as one person can make a difference. So the world needs women leaders. I want more. I want all of you, anyone who has signed up for this seminar has volunteered to become a woman leader. So we need you. And we need you to go through all of these materials, become the very best you can be. And when you're down in the dumps and you think you can't do it, remember the 80-20, send me an email. You will get through it. And I wish the very, very best for all of you. And I know that I'll be hearing of wonderful things that you'll all be doing in the future. And I do want to offer you, if you want a summary of my PowerPoint, if you have any follow-up questions, please email me at cmiller@cityethics.org. I'm happy to communicate with any of you with follow-up. And so I'm going to come back on with my live face here, see if we have any questions, and to wrap up. And let's see, screen sharing has stopped. I think I'm,
Scroll up.
yep. Okay,
Check.
chat. Okay, so we have a question. Can everyone hear me? Any problems, put it in chat. Okay. So a question on, you don't want to be a leader, but you want to be led. What role do they have to play? Well, I would say the skills that I put down as skills for leaders are also your skills. You have to know your strengths, and you'll find out that some of your strengths will be that you can take orders well, that you can execute programs. I mean, everybody can't be a leader, you know, we it can't be all chiefs. We have to have some Indians, you know, we have to have people that are going to do the work. Ethics is important, and knowing your why. Knowing your why. I mean, you don't have to like be in charge of the group to know your strengths, to know your why, and to look around and make sure your group is being ethical. So all of the same skill sets apply to you. And I will get the links to you later. Anybody that came to this seminar will get the links. Any other questions, please put in chat.
The bottom.
Yeah.
I'd like to give you the opportunity for question for the floor. I would like to open the floor for questions. One person only. Yeah, you can.
And I have, as leaders, we're exposed to quite a lot. What form of self-introspection helped you overcome bad habits or character traits? Yeah, you are exposed to a lot. I would say the self-introspection on really focusing on your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And tap into that passion. And that's gonna help overcome any of the rough edges, I would think. Also, getting feedback from people around you, like there's tests that you can take where other people evaluate you, 180-degree evaluations. And so you ask people around you, do I have any bad habits or character traits that I need to work on? And try to get that feedback, even anonymously, if that helps people be truthful, you know, so that people actually communicate with you. And then I have a question here. Seeing how you lived, how did you ensure that you weren't led into that same corruption you were trying to fight against? Well, here's an interesting observation. I think that sometimes the group that was being corrupt was basically men, and they kind of had like their own little group over here, and they play golf together, and they would, you know, they had their little in group, and they didn't let women in it. You know, so because they didn't let women in it, I wasn't privy to some of the corruption. I just, you know, as starting as a former federal prosecutor, that is basically your reputation. And then, you know, it didn't seem like they were trying to pull me into corruption.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kalamila. We won't actually take questions from the chat box. We'll only take one question from the floor, then we'll be done.
Can you hear me?
I have a question on how do you deal with corrupt women or someone close to you? I did have someone close to me. He actually officiated at my wedding. And it turned out there were some corruption issues. How do you deal with it? You deal with it the same as you would deal with anybody else. You put it on the right lines, you get it investigated, and you don't show favorites.
Miss Carla, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, the question from the floor. My question.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. If you put it in chat, I can see it. The microphone's not working.
will be sent or forwarded to you to your email, and other you will actually see them in your chat box. I'd like to thank you very much. Your expertise and perspective have provided us valuable tools and information to elevate our practices. Thank you very much. In South Africa, we do say "Re a leboha." That means thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being with all of you. I just wish I was there in person to meet you maybe one day.
Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Lerato. Thank you, Ms. Carter. What an informative session we had. Ladies, aren't we just bursting and bubbling with information from today? Woo, show excitement. Woo. My name is Anastasia Ngube, and I was your host for today. I'll now call upon Divine for our closing remarks and let's give a round for her.
How great was this workshop? Give a loud round of applause for yourself. You have been since this morning till now. You are strong, you are wise, and I see the network. This give a standing ovation to all from today. Amazing. And we were inspired. I see books of some of us need new because we've been writing the whole day. That's it's exactly. Last class. Give them the loudest round for all hard work. So we've come to the end. Normally, in the end, I come and I give you a speech, and you go home and you say, "Wow." But this time, I want to hear from you. Give me your impressions. What did you think of this workshop?
This workshop was very this workshop was very informative and we learned a lot of things. I actually thought that I knew most things, but now after today, nah, I really have so much to learn.
Amazing. Can we clap for her? Okay. One more. If you were to forget everything you have learned today, what's the one thing you will never forget?
I'll never forget to always step up, take action, and like come out of your comfort zone. So but she told us that, take every opportunity like it's your last. So make sure that every opportunity that you get, you take action. You don't sit comfortably and not do anything because you definitely miss out.
Yes. And what is our motto? Black girl. Black girl. Last activity before we go. I liked the activity that Anastasia told us to do. Please take out your phones quickly. Are you connected? Okay. Are you following the Amazon Leadership Initiative? Go quickly to Instagram, to Facebook. Just take a nice selfie, okay? And tag us in your stories, okay? Can we do that? When you are done, you lift your phone and wave. You wave. Holding us hostage. You are not leaving until you do that. A nice picture, take a selfie, even with the person next. Tag us quickly. When you're done, I want to see the first hand. Who's done? Who's done? Who's that brave person to be done? Do not forget the hashtag empowering dreams, hashtag Black Girl, your dreams are valid. I love it. I love the energy that we're feeling. Amazing, amazing. So, ladies, please, you can have a seat before I am blamed for making you tired. So, we've come to the end of an amazing workshop. We've learned a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. I don't think there was a speaker that came that didn't challenge us to listen and to change our perception. The only thing is take what you have learned and go reproduce it in your respective environments. Okay? All of us are from different areas within house. Some are raised in townships where people need to hear this type of information to not isolated from the world, to know that there is still hope, to know that they can put themselves out there, to know that they can start that business, to know that they can start. I want us to be pioneers and go and make a difference. You see, it's now let us go and empower somebody else's dreams. All right? So are we ready? So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for the time to be. And those who are watching us, thank you from the caucus, the Western African Caucus. Can we give a round? I have never been tagged as much as I've been tagged today. Sound, please fix the sound. We want to hear. We want to hear. For staying with us from beginning to end and for participating, for all of your questions, for tagging us on social media. We truly appreciate it. And just a logistic question, not question, but announcement. Please, okay? Inform once they're there and you are free to go. But for those who came by their own means, please feel free to go. If the same way we found it when we came, so any little pieces of papers, cutleries on the floor, them out now so that we can leave this place in a very decent manner. Okay? All right. I'm gonna call our president for this. One last icebreaker and we're going home. Leadership, come.
Thank you so much, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for coming through today. It's been a wonderful experience, and it's always a very great time when I get to see all of you guys in person. And it's fun that I get to see new faces and I can actually put the name to the face. So once again, I agree with Divine. Thank you so much to our guests, our participants, our host, and all our facilitators. You guys did an absolutely amazing and incredible job. Okay, so we're gonna end it off with a bang, because each and every event that we have as the Amazon Leadership Initiative, we remind of ourselves of the power that we have within us. Okay, so again, you guys are gonna repeat after me, and then we're gonna be on our feet now so that we can dance, because it's the last time. We're doing it one more time. Okay, so this is energy for the road, right? Energy for the road. We're gonna hands out like this and say shiki 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 shiki. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Shiki 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 shiki. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Okay, wait. Ooh. Okay? So you repeat after me, because we're doing our remix, don't worry. We add solos and everything nice, ne? Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. You are a superstar. You are a superstar. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Future is female. Future is female. Black child, black child. Child, black child. You are a hero. You are a hero. You can do it. You can do it. You can change the world. You can change the world. Black child, black child. Black child, black child. Your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid. Future is female. Future is female. Future is female. The tradition for the Southern Africa Caucus, we're going to close it off with a bang and give our founder, our CEO, our CFO, our COO, Miss Mary Zobo, and just say, oh, yeah, Zadeba, Avanzanye, we just want to say we love you, Miss Mary, and thank you. Right? And now we're officially close the event for today. This was the pre-forum. This is a reminder to sign up for the actual forum for 2024. It's going to be even hotter. Trust me. Let's make sure that we get on that list, we sign up, and we're ready. Okay? Give yourselves a huge round of applause. And out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.